Hey, hey, hey everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. Here's the news. Yeasayer is suing Kendrick Lamar and The Weeknd. Yeasayer is suing Kendrick Lamar and The Weeknd. Yeasayer is suing Kendrick Lamar and The Weeknd. Some of you in my audience may be thinking, Anthony, what the hell is a Yeasayer? Well, Yeasayer was a very popular neo-psych band in the late 2000s that had a debut record that many enjoyed, especially those who were loving Animal Collective stuff around that time. They were very much in that lane, that scene. However, they never really could stick the follow-up record, though, so as a result, their subsequent albums didn't do quite as well. They ended up breaking up in 2019 without much reaction, unfortunately. And now, despite the breakup, they are coming back with some court documents alleging that a song from the Black Panther soundtrack infringes on a track from their debut record. The song from that record is Sunrise, and the track from the Black Panther soundtrack is Pray For Me. Now, Pitchfork has linked the two songs down below, Sunrise and Pray For Me. We will link you to those as well down below so you can check them out for yourselves, make the comparison. Now, some of the allegations here seem quite silly, a little preposterous, if we're not scratching too much below the surface, especially when Yeasayer says that they have a very unique a collection of male voices on this track with pulsating vibrato and blah, 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 blah. It seems very silly to act like, oh, well, just this vocal style's yours. You just did this vocal style. But if we look more into these court docs, what they're actually alleging here is not that their sound or their style or aesthetic has been copied, which if we're just comparing these two tracks aesthetically, that is like not within the realm of possibility because while that has sort of been set as precedent before, aesthetically, these songs are not similar. They're not similar compositionally. There's not really a whole lot of overlap between these tracks. If I said to you, hey, this one artist is suing this other artist over this track, do they sound the same to you? Most likely you would say, no, these don't sound the fucking same to me at all. You have to be insane. But what is actually being alleged here in very weaselly kind of words and language in the court document is that what is occurring is that there's some kind of sample going on here. Now, it's not made super specific what exactly at what point a sound from this song is making it into the other song, or an idea from this song is making it into the other song, because that is going to be argued in court. But I'm pretty sure I have my finger on what exactly the thing is that is drawing these two tracks together. So if you are to go down there in the description box and listen to both of these tracks, and we look closer at the court documentation here, defendants processed and created an unauthorized derivative work from plaintiff's original Sunrise recording by transposing the material, keeping the same number of voices in the same configuration, brightening the material, and temporarily condensing the copied portion while generally retaining the original's pulsating vibrato. Despite the processing, defendant's use of plaintiff's song nonetheless retains its inherent characteristics, as well as the relation between those characteristics, and is immediately recognizable as plaintiff's material. And it says that the material is recreated at least like at 8 different points in the song. And again, to go to these two tracks, the sound that they're referring to, if you listen to the Yeasayer song, is right at 0:00. It's right at the first second of the song. It's the intro, before the beat or the piano really hits and you hear that chorus of vocals going, that is the sound that they are alleging makes it into this track. Now, where in this track are you going to hear this sound? Well, this sound, or whatever sound is like it, pops up at numerous times throughout the song. But if you want to hear it the most clearly, you would have to fast forward to 2:10. And what sounds like, if what Yeasayer is saying is true, it sounds like the sound may have been sampled and like pitched and sped up a little bit or something. And maybe there's a bit of vibrato or something added, because in this iteration, it sounds more like, woo! But It is really, there is a quality about it that seems really similar. Like it does sound like it could be a sample. When I was listening to the song originally, I was actually not catching that sound every time it was popping in the background. And I was just like trying to listen through the song again and again and again. And then it was around this, 2 10-minute mark that I heard it popping up. And I was like, oh, wait, that does sound like a sample. Is there a moment in this song that sounds like that? Because I was sort of struggling to hear something in the track that sounded like it was blatantly sampled from another place, because a lot of the weird vocal embellishments in the background just kind of sound like Abel riffing. Other bits of the track sound synthetically generated or entirely original. But that one weird vocal bit that just pops up and then dips out really quickly sounds like it is like a chunk of something from somewhere else. Now, again, I'm not like saying this case is going to be a slam dunk, or that we have Kendrick and the Weeknd like dead to rights on this track or anything like that. But what I will say is that I think I do notice the one little bit of this song that sounds like it is in this Pray For Me track. Again, this lawsuit doesn't seem to be over any compositional or aesthetic similarities between these two tracks. It seems like it's a sample lawsuit. What seems to be alleged here is that either a sample was taken from this song, or basically this chunk of the track was taken and was recreated, and then that recreation was thrown in here. It's a very strange allegation, because the language of it is not super duper clear, and they make a lot of assumptions about whatever the process was to recreate that sound here, instead of being clearer or more forthright with it. But I think I hear whatever similarity that this whole thing is over, and it sounds pretty close. It sounds pretty close. I don't know how you would prove that is the same exact sound. I mean, maybe the first thing I would do is, if I was a lawyer or an audio engineer, I would try to take, the sample from this track, or the alleged sample from the Yeasayer track, and recreate it exactly in the same way that it would sound in this Weeknd song. And if you can get it to sound exactly the same way, with very minimal, alterations or anything like that, then, it could be a case made. That is in fact what happened, if you can show how easy the process would be to take that exact sample and recreate the same thing that pops up in this track. So at the end of the day, I don't know exactly where I land on this. I mean, the two sounds are very similar. I'm not sure if this really is a sample, though. I mean, I myself took the intro chunk to the Yeasayer track, and I did alter the pitch of it up a little bit to kind of recreate the same sound. And I did get somewhat close, at least close enough to make me curious to hear what maybe somebody who was an audio engineer or producer would do to it, to maybe recreate the same thing, if they could in fact get that same exact sound going that pops up in this song. And honestly, it'll be interesting to see how far this one goes, if they end up settling and Yeasayer ends up getting a songwriting credit out of this, because again, the similarities are uncanny enough to at least humor. But I've told you guys the timestamps, and the tracks are linked down below. Give them a listen for yourself, and let me know in the comments if you think the similarities are actually there, or if you think this whole thing is bunk. You're the best, you're the best, you're the best. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Yeasayer, The Weeknd, Kendrick Lamar, Sunrise, Pray For Me, forever.